Welcome to Jesus in 3. I'm standing here by the archaeological dig of the Pool of Bethesda. You have the story recorded in John chapter 5. Two things. Bethesda means house of mercy. Beth, house, Hesed, mercy. This was a house of mercy located very close to the temple. In fact, it says right there in John 5, there was by the sheep market in Jerusalem a pool. And so the sheep market was right beside the temple. Makes sense, because that's where people went and bought the lambs and the sheep that might be sacrificed in the temple. So right beside that area, there was a place where people had ritual baths, but it was also a place of healing. And so it's appropriate that Jesus, who is grace, who is mercy, came to this place. And when he came here, there was a man who had been waiting for 38 years. What a sad picture. Waiting. And when Jesus comes, it seems he doesn't recognize Jesus. So he is in the house of mercy, the house of loving kindness. And then the one who is loving kindness, who is grace and mercy personified, he arrives and the man doesn't recognize who it is. What a picture. It's possible to believe in healing and yet not have a vision of the healer. It's possible to be in a spiritual environment and yet not recognize Jesus' presence. So when Jesus comes in here, he says to him, "Do you want to be healed?" And it was like a shock. Want to be healed. And he starts blaming and saying, "Well, I have no one to help me." And then Jesus makes his three statements. Rise, take up your bed and walk. I say, rise. It speaks of Jesus being the great physician. He says, stand up, rise up on the inside. When you rise up on the inside, the outside will come along. Even in the circumstances of life, you begin to rise up and say, it's possible. And those circumstances would change. Jesus is also the great psychiatrist. He knows human behavior. He says, take up your bed. Because surely the man's natural tendency would have been to maybe take a stroll down the streets of Jerusalem to show off his healed body. And by nightfall, he would go back to sleep right here again. And Jesus says, you're not going back to that environment. You're going to pick up your bed and you're going to make a new future and a new destiny. And then he says, walk. I say Jesus is the great life coach. Now you're going to walk in a life of purpose. You're not going to stay just waiting and seeing nothing to happen. You're going to have a life of action. God bless you.